Hey guys, my name is Michael Alaman-Murin here with ProjectFreedomNetwork.com, and I wanted to share some tips with you on how to get a job at a dispensary. So, well, who am I? I am a former dispensary manager and I've interviewed close to about 100 people for different front-end positions of a dispensary. Now, I'm talking the front desk security and then also the dispensary counter. So I have some experience interviewing. I look for certain things when I am moving forward with applicants. So I'm confident you'll find these tips very informative. First off, I do want to share, obviously this is just my personal experience, in my experience, and it's no way, a guarantee that it's going to be the same for every dispensary in your area. I've been able to step away from that industry and, secure my freedom, not working for someone else, and that's kind of why I left that industry, is because I was kind of restricted and by rules and by, I wasn't allowed some of the freedoms that come with owning your own business. So I stepped away from that industry to run my own business, and if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about that, stay tuned at the end of this video. But I want you to first treat a dispensary, especially if you're applying for a dispensary, treat it just like you would any retail type business. Plain and simple. You may not think that it's a retail business, but it is. You still have customers. We just call them patients. You still have, and those customers and patients are buying products. We just call them medicine. So it's still the same concepts. Just because it's not in a mall, just because it's not in a shopping center, doesn't mean that it's not a retail business. It still is. So your employees are building that customer loyalty, so those customers come back and buy more medicine, so that those patients come back to you for those employees. Think of it, I like to relate it to think of Starbucks meets a pharmacy. Combine them. Boom. And that's the type of business the dispensary is in for their patient experience, and they're looking for employees who can drive that patient experience up. So you have to be knowledgeable. Well, one thing I looked for was people who are passionate about cannabis. Well, you're telling yourself, well, that's, of course, how can you not be passionate? But it's interesting that the people that I moved forward with, they were able to effectively communicate their passion. Just as I do now in my business, I communicate with authority and I communicate with certainty about what I do to make money online. You have to be able to communicate your passion about cannabis in a way that's going to be effective for the person you're interviewing with and also your potential patients. Because I had people who were so excited and anxious, they couldn't sit still in their chair. But I had some people who were sweating, had some people who were just stuttering and weren't even looking at me in the eye, and they were just so just uncomfortable speaking with that I didn't move forward with them, because I couldn't imagine them effectively communicating with the patients that they would be engaging with. So get over your fear of talking about cannabis, whether it be recreationally or medically. Doesn't matter. The people that I moved forward with were people that had experience in either one of those. And the people that I didn't move forward with had great experience. They were DMs, they were tons of experience in customer service, they'd run their own businesses, but they didn't have experience with cannabis. So how could I move forward with them if they didn't have experience in an industry that I wanted them to be successful in? And you ultimately have to be a product of the product, right? And that's the same of any industry you go into. If you work at Best Buy, you have to be familiar with their products. If you work at Starbucks, you have to be familiar with their products. If you work in cannabis, you have to be familiar. If you are selling products online, be familiar. So I didn't move forward with the people that couldn't speak confidently. So get over your fear of speaking about cannabis, whether it's recreationally or medically. Just speak to why you do it, what are your favorite strains, why are those your favorite strains, and treat it as like a real business. And so practice with your relatives if you're not comfortable with that. That's always the best tip. Secondly, be prepared. Go onto their website, do some research about the business themselves. Go to their Facebook page, see what they've done in the community. If you're a card holder, if you're a medical card holder, go to their facility, be a patient, get to know the employees or get a feel of the patient experience. Then use that information in the interview. Be able to share that with the interviewer, because they're going to ask you, why do you want to work here? Why do you want to join the industry? And And don't say because you want to be a part of a growing industry, because it's booming in wherever you're at, and I want to be a part of it. Well, everyone says that. It's not a good enough answer to convince the person to move forward with you. But being able to share experiences that you've had directly with them, like, oh, I've just come here recently, I was blown away about the service and the attention to detail or the high quality of meds, and I said, hey, I want to be a part of somewhere that I'm proud to represent. Boom, you'd set yourself above someone else. Or hey, I saw on Facebook that you guys have reached out to the community a lot in this past year, and that is awesome, and I wouldn't want to be a part of not only a cannabis industry, but someone also who gives back to the community, because I love that. Your answer just needs to be unique, is my point. And so, thirdly, dress the part, be prepared, dress the part, don't come in sneakers, dress up if you need to, it's not going to hurt. But I interview people who are in their flip-flops and sneakers and looks like they didn't take a shower, and it's like, really? Like, you're still interviewing for a job. Like, the skills that you're taught, or that skills that you have heard before in corporate America, still apply to the cannabis industry. So please understand that. Have a resume, bring a resume. I don't really care if they ask for it or not, bring it. Have references on there that speak to either your experience in volunteering or your experience in work ethic, roles are important. And then also another thing I wanted to mention was make sure that you engage with people. So if you are interviewing for the job, it doesn't hurt to engage with the secretary or the security officer and have a personality, because your position ultimately, if you're interviewing for a front end position, is going to be for interacting with people. So the owners are probably going to ask, the secretary, the receptionist, or the security officer, what did you think about X so-and-so? And they're going to give some insight and their feedback. I did, and I definitely wanted to make sure that I move forward with people who had a personality. So if you found value in those tips, comment, and share this video. If you are interested in learning more about how I have stepped away from that industry as far as the dispensary manager position, you click on the link below. It's projectfreedomnetwork.com, and I'll share that information with you. More importantly, I want you to understand that I wish you all the best of luck, no matter what your future holds. And until then, guys, bye for now.